Hello, I'm Nuria Kearns. Welcome to Property Box Weekly News. The Chancellor has announced that he is reducing tax relief on private rented homes in an attempt to quell the economic risk posed by the booming buy-to-let market. This will hit landlords hard. Mr. Osborne said the income tax relief enjoyed by landlords will be cut to the basic rate, which currently stands at 20%. The measure, which will address unfairness in property taxation, will be phased in gradually from 2017. Buy-to-let landlords can offset their mortgage interest payments against their income, whereas homeowners who live in their own properties cannot, he explained. The Bank of England had already warned that the growth in the buy-to-let market posed a risk to the financial stability of the country, inflating house prices up and reducing the number of homes available for first-time buyers. We must point out that this new measure from the Chancellor is going to make landlords put up rents and actually does nothing to resolve the bigger issues of lack of housing supply and credit availability. Speaker and property investor Nic Findlay had this to say.
One of the reasons that the Chancellor has done this, in my opinion, is that he's definitely trying to slow the market down, and the majority of the growth in the property market over the last few years has been from the buy-to-let sector. They finally cottoned onto that, and they're trying to slow the whole market down, stop it booming. The popularity of buy-to-let investments is because people are getting savvy. They know that pensions don't work. They haven't worked for decades. People have known that, but they've not been able to take their pension money out of their pensions. In last year's election budget, the Chancellor let people who were over the age of 55 withdraw their pensions in a lump sum and put it to something a little bit more useful than sticking in a pensions which don't work. Since 2008, the majority of the new mortgages issued have been buy-to-let mortgages, and that's what's fueled the property boom over the last few years. But they do want to slow it down, and for good reason. I've got no issue with them trying to slow the market down. I think one of the issues about reducing the tax incentives for buy-to-let landlords is that clearly landlords are going to increase rents if they need to. So it is unquestionably going to put rents up for a lot of tenants. The issue is not the tax or the mortgages. The issue is lack of supply. That's why there's so much demand for buy-to-let lending. And there's been lack of supply for 30 years. When it comes to the actual tax aspect, for your amateur landlord who possibly bought in at the wrong price in the wrong area when they're perhaps struggling, the tax issue is going to cause a big problem for them. At the moment, with the current tax system, for interest payments of £100, the reality is they only pay £55 of that because of the tax relief. As of the new budget, if they take £100 of interest payments at the moment, they'll be paying £80 of that. So it's going to make a big difference to amateur landlords. Now more than ever, you don't want to be getting into a market not knowing what you're doing.
Previous to the Chancellor's announcement, in its biannual financial stability report, the central bank warned that borrowers were finding it easier to access credit and that they may be putting themselves and the economy at risk by investing this money in buy-to-let properties. In a downswing, investors selling buy-to-let properties into an illiquid market could amplify falls in house prices, potentially raising losses given default for all mortgages, the bank said. Those risks could be amplified as Britain prepares to raise interest rates for the first time since the financial crisis. A small rise in rates could wipe out the income from a property. An insider from the bank said, buy-to-let borrowers are potentially more vulnerable to rising interest rates because loans are more likely to be interest only and extended on floating rate terms, and affordability tends to be tested at lower stressed interest rates than owner-occupied lending. Are you an investor? How would an interest rate rise affect you? Let us know in the section of the comments, and see you next week. Come on, Kearns. Blah, 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 blah. Roses are red. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. The text in the prompt is blue. He is reducing tax relief on private rented homes. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Was that okay? Yeah. And it's a wrap.